made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channels and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and to continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by Transact Card, Align Life, Neuro Infinity, Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, Life Chiropractic College West, Pro Hockey Chiros, Pro Baseball Chiros, and the IFCO. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 515 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I'm your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Walter Salubro. And if you want to hear the story about how YouTube can affect your chiropractic practice, stay tuned. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. And I am really impressed with what Dr. Walter Salubro has done. He has tapped into the network of YouTube like I've never seen anybody else on our show be able to do. So I'm really excited to share some of his methods on marketing. And he's coming in today from our northern neighbor, Canada. And I know that there's some things that we're going to talk about today that are going to help with your practice and with your marketing and your strategic plan going forward. So I'd recommend getting your pen and paper out or your notepad and making some notes as we go through this interview today, because there's going to be some great takeaways. And it's kind of a selfish reason. I had him on our show because I wanted to learn from him. So, I think that there's going to be a lot of good information that we're going to share today, but also tell your story too and how you got into chiropractic, because we were just off camera and he was telling me these stories. And I think it's a lot of value for people to kind of understand the chiropractic profession from his perspective and how he got into the profession. But before we go to that, I just want to let people know the big why, the why around Chiro Hustle podcast. We started this thing 5.5 years ago. And I knew that there was a North Star for me. And the North Star for me was to create something that promoted chiropractic. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that didn't know how to do it. They didn't know how to create the influence to bring a show together that was consistent enough to brand chiropractic to where chiropractors would be proud of it. So that means a lot to me that we've graduated to the point where we are today, and we have opportunities to go as many shows as we want to. But the big why is we protect freedom of speech. First Amendment in America is very important to me. I know it is up to our northern neighbors in Canada too. So our show definitely stands for something big. And I think that if people wanted to learn more about freedom of speech, they should, go and look and see what the Constitution stood for and what it stands for today, and find some of the difficulties maybe that we're dealing with today based on what our forefathers had laid out for us. But in encapsulation of that, we also believe in medical freedom and family health freedom. And I think that those are things that have been in the crosshairs over the past couple of years. And there's a lot of confusion that's around that. So we don't have to talk about that stuff specifically from your viewpoint and in your scope, but that's something that the tenet of our show stands for. And then we also believe in protecting BJ Palmer's Sacred Trust. And I think it's pretty impressive. People go and search for that, and they learn more about chiropractic, and they learn more about why we do what we do as a profession and how we support each other and why it matters to guard that sacred trust. And I think that's really, really cool stuff. But we also support subluxation-based chiropractic. And I try not to gloss over any of this stuff in the intro, but I think it's important for people to understand the significance of supporting subluxation-based chiropractic. And as we develop into the last part of the opener, we believe in innate intelligence and universal intelligence. We believe that when man or woman, the physical, gets adjusted, it connects them to man or woman, the spiritual. And with that being said, that's my intro. And I'm going to intro Dr. Walter. And Dr. Walter, 1,000 YouTube subscribers, or 100,000 YouTube subscribers. That's impressive, man. I know we're going to talk a lot about that, but let's go back in time, turn the page back 22 years, 23 years, and your origin story. How did you get into this chiropractic profession?
For sure. First of all, thank you for having me here. And I
For
want to
sure.
thank you. What you're doing for the chiropractic profession is really, really massive. So I really want to acknowledge you for that.
Appreciate that.
So I was first introduced in chiropractic as a practice member or a patient. I think I was like 13 years old. I never really got into it from an injury perspective, or there was never an emotional aha moment for me. My dad was going to the chiropractor at the time. He was in construction. His back was hurt. He was off. So we tagged along because we were with him at home. So he was getting adjusted. We tag along with him regularly. He was getting adjusted regularly. And I remember this vividly. We're in this little room with his chiropractor. It was me, my sister, my brother. I was the eldest. I was like 13. They're younger than me. And my dad, being an Italian immigrant man, asked this really odd question that I thought was odd. He goes, "Can you adjust kids also? Do you check kids also?" He goes, "Yeah, of course we do." He goes, "Can you check them?" He goes, "Yeah." So we got on the table, we got checked, and that was my first adjustment. So that was my introduction to chiropractic. But the interesting thing is, at growing up, I never had an affinity for treating any ailments I had, whether it was a bruise or cut, from like a medical perspective or taking a medication. I always like to try to, heal it somehow naturally. It's just kind of the innate thing that I did, whether I got hurt or my siblings got hurt. But as I was growing up, going to high school, I started to develop headaches. And the only thing I knew to do was go to my chiropractor and get checked and adjusted. So we'd be living like in one end of Toronto, hop on a public bus to get to my high school. After school, no cell phones, no internet, no nothing. Tell my parents in the morning, I'm going to go see the chiropractor, go down to Little Italy, get adjusted, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then head back on the bus and go back home. And did that as often as I needed to. So that's what got me through my headaches at the time when I was in high school. And that was pretty much my introduction to chiropractic. Anytime I needed care, I'd go see our chiropractor. So yeah, that's how I got introduced to it. And so I never had really a high conviction of it from the beginning. It was just part of what I was, who I was. But my conviction really, really grew when I started practicing later on. And I started to see the amazing, getting more into the principle of chiropractic and the science and neurology, advancing techniques. And then you're seeing the massive, amazing changes in your patients. Simply, and I don't want to use the word simply, just, that wishy-washy, but from adjusting someone's spine, correcting their subluxations, and they're getting well. So that's where my conviction really got elevated in chiropractic over the years, the last 23 years.
Yeah. There's so much substance to that. A chiropractic family. I used to work in a clinic for 6 years as a CBP traction tech, like
Awesome.
doing setups and changing spines and doing pre and post x-rays and I used to be before like the software came out where you could do like the click, 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 click. I was doing like the Gonstead, like grease pencil drawings to show people's curves. And I mean, I was in the trenches, man. I was doing development. I was inside the darkroom coughing.
I'm laughing because I know what you're talking about.
And I was like, can somebody else do this, please? But, as you're talking the fundamentals of learning, I used to tell the people that brought their families in, I'd say a family that gets adjusted together stays together.
For sure.
And it's these like simple, like one-line statements that really ring true. And before I knew it, I had coined this little phrase that anybody that came into the office, I told them have a chiropractic day. So one patient worked at a sign shop and he put a sign above our door when you came in and left that had a big smiley face on it and said, have a chiropractic day. And everybody at the clinic that was kind of like our slogan for how patients like greeted us. I'd be like, have a chiropractic day. And I think that's really cool that, I got to know these people and I saw, like you did, you saw the changes in people and how like the chiropractic lifestyle, just like it envelops somebody. And it doesn't have to always be like, I got in this terrible like thing, or I hit this thing, or like I fell out of this, or something happened for you to become a chiropractor. I think it's just sometimes a matter of just becoming, indoctrinated into the method of feeling better. How about that?
For sure. And
what if we just want to get adjusted to feel better?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And I truly believe for me, chiropractic in this lifetime was a calling. Like I was meant to be a chiropractor for a lot of different reasons. Whether it was through going through my own learning experience in my life, every major lesson I learned, whether it was personal, interrelationships, business, financial, you name it, family. Every lesson was learned because of me being a chiropractor in my chiropractic journey. So like I'm so grateful for it, and like I can't see myself doing anything else but this. I know I do something on the side with YouTube and all that stuff, but like I'm a chiropractor because I'm meant to be a chiropractor for sure.
So that's a perfect segue. People are probably really curious because of the intro that I laid down for them about 100,000 subscribers to YouTube. And my next question is about getting more new patients and traffic into a chiropractic office and doing marketing. And I think it would be even more fair if you talked a little bit about what you did that didn't work with marketing, what you did that worked, and then YouTube.
Yeah. So again, what I did before that didn't work was this, and I see this with a lot of other chiropractors that I talk to, is I try to be everything to everybody. So and just even when I dialed into just plain simple wellness-based, subluxation-based chiropractic, I was still trying to teach nutrition. I was still trying to teach stress management, being a motivational speaker, like I had seminars on all this stuff in my office and trying to put content out there online. How to take care of your spine, your posture. But then when I honed in on just one thing, which was chiropractic structural corrective care, that everything started to expand. So the number one thing is you have to be known for something. You can't be known for everything. So you need to niche down. It's one of the biggest problems that chiropractors have is niching down. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to niche down like you have to be the back pain person or the neck pain person, but you have to niche down at least with your message. You have to be known for something. So if you can start with that, and all of your online or whatever offline content marketing, that's already going to get you to the next level, because people don't think in multitude of things. They think in one thing. If they're confused, they're not going to choose you. But if they know what you're about, they won't choose those things that you're not, and they'll choose what you are. So that's very important. Made a big difference for me.
The riches are in the niches.
100%. And the other thing I would tell chiropractors as well, or any business owner, so if you're not on social media, I mean, you're well behind the game, right? So the other thing too is you have to master one platform. I don't care what you choose. I chose YouTube for a lot of reasons, and we can get into all that, but you cannot, as a single person, if you have a team, it's a different story, but as a single practitioner, if you're trying to put content on every single platform, you're going to fail. So master one platform. So I chose YouTube, and we can get into the reasons. And so I mastered YouTube. All my content is on there. Now I can take that content and repurpose it if I wanted to on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, my email, my website, my Google My Business, and then cut into a bunch of different types of contents, whether it's videos, still images, or PDFs, and then you can repurpose it. But it all comes from that one main content. So and the nice thing about YouTube is, so just to give some people some statistics, so there's 7 billion people on the earth. 2 billion of those people are actually active YouTube users every month. 2 billion. So a couple of things about that is that YouTube is massive, number one. Number two things to add to that. Your patients are on YouTube looking at videos. So they're going to look at someone else's videos, or you can feed them your videos. And number three, your prospective patients are out there on YouTube looking for answers. So might as well give them the answers. Might as well you be the person that gives them the answers. Now, the thing with YouTube that will stop some docs is, well, it's a massive global platform. I get it. So you just create the content, give the value, try to create some optimization for local reach, and then let the YouTube algorithm do what it does. At some point, someone in your town or vicinity will have that situation that they need help with, and will find that video and then contact you. So it's very possible.
So a couple things popped up for me. And I know that there's different platforms that do multi-share, like a Hootsuite or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find, I've heard this before, do you find that that's like less credible to the platform when you hit one button, it shares to many?
Yeah, I don't do that. And I think it is. I think it's better to share organically. So even if I link my YouTube video to Facebook, which I do all the time, it doesn't get much reach.
No.
If I uploaded it organically, it gets a bit more reach. It's not as good as it was years ago, but it's at least better than just putting a link on. So yeah, I wouldn't use one of those. I prefer to repurpose your content yourself offline, and then put it on all those individual platforms organically.
So do you have a content strategy map that you teach people this?
No, I don't, because I just focus on YouTube only. So
Gotcha.
again, I'm one person. I don't have a team of people that does this. My CA helps me with some video editing now, so I delegate some of that. Yeah. So and it's in their job description. It really is. So, but if I had to expand, then I'll say, okay, now it's time to repurpose this content for the other platforms. I'm just happy with the results I'm getting on YouTube right now. So it's not something I have to dive into just yet.
Yeah. I just think it's really cool because we have a content strategy map that we do here at Hustle, and everything that we do with this podcast, with the pillar content, and then we create micro strategies around the one thing. But I think it's really eye-opening for people that watch our show too, to learn this stuff, because
Sure.
a lot of people are afraid of podcasting, and they're afraid of consistency. They're afraid of creating a personal brand. And I think that it's really encouraging to have somebody on like yourself that says it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. Focus on the one thing,
Right.
and do a good job on that one thing. And I think that you teach people how to do that too. So I think that's really where it gets exciting for me, is you're a specialist now.
Mhm.
And you actually have done this for yourself, and you've helped other people do it too.
For sure. When you put intention behind what you're working on, and then you apply some strategies that have been reproduced by others, then you're going to get results at some point. Like I did some podcasting some time ago. I can tell you it was not easy at all. I prefer to do YouTube way more than podcasting. I mean, to line up the guests, I went up to 74 episodes. So, and that's
Wow.
a big challenge. And I was satisfied with that. I accomplished what I had to accomplish. It didn't do anything more than that, and I was happy with that. So the amount of effort that you put in and the results you're getting, like, really means a lot from what you're doing. You know what I mean?
You have to love your medium.
100%. Yeah.
Like, you have to love your medium, and
Yeah.
you have to love it so much that you, like I was telling you before we jumped on, like, I have a little team that helps us do this
Exactly.
stuff.
Exactly.
Like, there's a photographer, there's a producer, there's a micro content strategist, there's the web guy. He does all the posting. Like, I manage all the scheduling and asset management, and we have a sponsorship department. Like, there's a lot that goes into like actually creating a little show like this, but
For sure.
who knows what can happen, you know?
100%. And if you don't want to do it, you would not be here this far in, right?
Yeah.
So it's the intention that matters, and that's, I was doing the challenge today. We're in day 2 of my YouTube challenge, where people, docs come in, and the result is that they're going to get an optimized video published by the end of the week, 5 days, as long as they do the work, of course. And one of the docs asked me in the VIP session, how much time should I put towards publishing one video? And I go, you have to plan at least 3 hours. 3 hours per video. He goes, oh my gosh, that's it. That's a stopper for me. So my answer right away was, well, hold on a sec. Number one is, do you want to do this? Okay. Because if you're committed, you're going to find the time, right? If you're committed, you're going to find time. Then just carve it out into your schedule, 1 hour, 3 days a week, and then systemize that. And there's your time. So what matters so much is not doing the work, is actually being committed to it, because then you'll find the time. So
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by Transact Card, Align Life, Neuro Infinity, Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, Life Chiropractic College West, Pro Hockey Chiros, Pro Baseball Chiros, and the IFCO. Let's hustle. And then when you get better at it, it takes less time.
exactly. Yeah. You just my strategy is I don't schedule it. I'm more of a spur of the moment, spontaneous kind of person. So I'll just have like a half an hour break or something, or during lunch, and then just do my videos. But there's some consistency week by week, or every week, or every month. So that's what matters. And it's the commitment that matters. So even if I take a break for a month, I know that I'm still making another, 50, 60 videos by the end of the year.
See, I love this conversation because I'm a batch creator.
Yeah. And that works too. And I talk about that.
I do like 5 to, like, today you're my 4th interview, but I do batch creation on Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
And I let people know if they wanted to create a podcast show, they can create all their episodes in one afternoon.
100%. Yeah. And that's one of the strategies I teach as well, is batch creation as well.
Yeah, and I think it's brilliant because then people don't feel like so bogged down with having to become a digital creator. They
Yeah.
can actually take something, make something meaningful within a 30-minute to an hour process, and
Mhm.
then they can like deploy that out and schedule that out and
For sure.
edit out and like create their content from, a half day of work.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what, you and I, like, we're not reinventing the wheel. These are things that other successful creators have done. It's just that your everyday chiropractor is so focused with their practice inside their four walls, they're not thinking outside the box like that, right? So you apply a couple of simple strategies and you do it consistently, and no matter what platform you're on, it's just going to take off.
Well, I'll just give people a quick hack. Um, I read a book by John Lee Dumas. He created a podcast called Entrepreneur on Fire, and his book is called The Common Path to Uncommon Success, or
Hmm.
The Uncommon Path to Common Success. I don't know.
Hmm.
It's similar title. Switch the words around, but John Lee Dumas's book. I went down to a mastermind in Puerto Rico, and he spoke there, and I had a chance to meet the guy, and I was just so excited because I'm like, this guy is crushing it.
Hmm.
And, he basically taught me to reformat all of my strategic plan.
Hmm.
Everything that I did for production was wrong,
Hmm.
but I was still effective.
For sure.
So that's kind of what I want you to share with people now. You have is it a 5-day challenge?
It's a 5-day challenge. Yeah. I have a YouTube course where it's an online course, every single strategy. I don't know. I've seen other courses out there. I can tell you there's way more content in this one than all the ones I've seen out there that I've personally done and purchased. Everything's in there, from how to start a channel to how to create content, there's like 5 different ways of creating content. Anyways, I don't want to go through all the details. So the problem with that is people took the course, they bought it, but didn't actually execute on it. So that to me was very frustrating because I know it's possible. And for me, it's not so much about selling the course. It's about, I want to see the chiropractors out there get their message on YouTube and create massive influence to the world. And there's so many people discovering chiropractic because of my channel from different countries where, do you know that they wish they had a chiropractor in these countries? They talked about, Saudi Arabia. I had 2 patients that came in from Saudi Arabia to come to my office. They're from here, they work there, but the 2 weeks that they're here, they came to my office. So, and I asked them, are there any chiropractors there? Yeah, there's 1 or 2. There's not many, right? In India, many people with health issues and they have a mechanistic system. They have physiotherapists, but very few chiropractors. They want what we have.
Oh, I
So
know.
exactly. So we need to tell them. So my thing is, let's get more people giving their message out on a platform like YouTube. But if you're not executing, then it's not going to happen. So I thought, let me deliver this a little bit different. Let me actually walk people through step by step, handhold them over a 5-day event, a live event, where the idea is to get your channel started, branded, get your messaging right, get your video planned, scripted, edited, filmed, edited, and upload within 5 days. And people have done this challenge. People that have never designed anything in Canva, did their banner and YouTube thumbnails. People that never edited the video ever as chiropractors got their first video up on YouTube. Some of them that had videos on YouTube that were going nowhere, coming to the challenge, now getting thousands of views and subs on their channel already. So that's what this challenge is about, is basically walking, chiropractors through, giving them the basic steps on how to get their video planned, optimized, uploaded, and then rinse and repeat. And of course, if you want to do more work with me, we have that option as well.
So you talk global really well there, and how chiropractic is a global profession. And I'm just curious, have you implemented strategies within your coursework to have the people that are chiropractors send out these videos to their local database, their patients that are actually like inside of their EHR?
Yeah, so that's one of the primary strategies, especially for a starting YouTuber, is I'll tell them create about 5 or 6 videos within one topic, right? So let's just use an example of sciatica leg pain. So 5 different videos about sciatica leg pain, plug them into a playlist, and then share the video from inside your playlist to your email list, however 100 people you have on your email list. Tell them to watch it, subscribe to your channel. So what I did at the beginning when I was starting this off is I did that. I said, I'm starting my YouTube channel. I want to revamp, create some amazing videos. I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel to really give it a kickstart. And as a reply back to me done that you subscribe to my channel, and I'll give you a free stretching ebook that I created as a gift. And I got my first 50, 60 subscribers just from that. So simple strategies to get, the first goal, if you're a brand new channel for chiropractors, your first goal is to get to 100 subscribers. Your next goal is to get to 1,000. Your first 1,000 is the hardest number to get to. But once you get to your first 1,000, the second and third and fourth are a lot easier because now the algorithm just picked you up and knows what you're about.
Yeah, I think it's really encouraging too that you actually teach people how to create the content and not only deliver it on a global scale, but you teach them how to deliver it to their patient base too, which I think is really, really valuable.
Yeah. Another great way of creating content is you can do what's called an ask campaign, ASK. And I learned this from Russell Brunson in his books. I'm a big follower of Russell Brunson. Basically, send them email blast to your email list and say, listen, I want to create some great content for you. What's your number one question about health that chiropractic can help with? And I'll create a video about it. And then just compile, let's say there's 5 or 6 different types of topics and just create a video based on that, email it to your email list. They feel like they got served. So put on YouTube. People out there are going to like it also. And that's another great way to make content as well.
I love Russell.
I
actually met him at a conference a couple years back, Grant Cardone conference. He sold, I don't know how many millions of dollars.
Yeah, he got the record that day.
I actually was one of his purchasers that day.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think he sold something like $9 million in 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and I implement the same thing when I teach people to podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them to create their Dream 100 list.
Yeah.
Create the Dream 100 topics that you could talk about by yourself as like a solo cast. And then I tell them to create a Dream 100 list of people that they want to have on their show. Mm-hmm. So I think Russell's really made things super simple for people to understand. And if they just implemented that,
for sure,
creating the ask campaign and created content off of that and create a Dream 100 list on topics that they could talk about and create a list of people that they would like to have on an interview if they decide to go that route. I think that would be just a really simple way for people to start getting their creative juices flowing.
Absolutely simple, because you're getting people to help you to create content and you're giving them something that they want. So they're going to want to watch it. They're part of the creative process. That's the beauty about it.
And it doesn't cost anything.
100%. Yeah.
It doesn't cost them a dime.
Yeah. And that's the thing about YouTube. So YouTube, just to give some more advantage to YouTube first of all, it's evergreen. Okay. So what that means is your videos are on there forever. So some of my videos have, tens of thousands of views. Some have hundreds of thousands and one has over 3 million. The one video that has over 3 million, that video alone is probably responsible for maybe 2/3 or maybe a half of my subscribers, believe it or not. Plus that one video helped promote other videos. So that helped push other videos. And that video alone, I think, referred maybe 60 or 70 new patients into my office out of like 140 plus people that came in from YouTube. So, and that's one video that I just literally did in a matter of let's say an hour of filming, another couple hours of editing and uploading. So let's say a total of 3 to 4 hours. An 8-minute video is just keep working and working and working for me without doing anything and without putting any dollars or money invested into it besides my time. And the thing with YouTube too is I keep telling docs, they ask me, what should I talk about? What are you passionate about? What are you passionate about? Who are you serving in your office? If you have a pediatric practice and a family wellness practice, then talk about things that serve that patient population. If you like to treat women that are pregnant in all different semesters, pre, during, and after, talk about that. There's tons of content that can be done about that that's lacking on YouTube. I like structural corrective care. I do chiropractic biophysics. So I talk about structural corrective care of the spine and how that serves a whole bunch of different people across different conditions. So that's what I'm passionate about. And the thing too is it comes out in the videos. When you talk about what you're passionate about, patients come in and say, so I'll ask them, why do you believe that we can help you, right? Well, number one, you answered my question in your video. I feel like you know what my problem is. My problem is I feel like you can help me, and you're so passionate about it that I just want to be here. So it has that magnetic draw almost when you talk about the stuff that you're passionate about.
Yeah, I love this so much because I think that everybody has some genius inside of them. And I think that if they just gave themselves permission to share what made them excited about being a practitioner, even if you just created chiropractic miracle stories and every day at the end of your shift, you just did a 3-minute rant on the miracle stories that you saw at your office, would probably end up being a 15 to 20 minute rant.
For sure.
And and you could then take that as a daily practice,
Yeah.
and then you would be known for the person in that community that all you talked about was all these things that you were helping people with their cases, and how you took this mom that couldn't get pregnant, you
Mhm.
started adjusting her, and the next thing you know, she's pregnant. And this person that had numbness and tingling into their extremities, doesn't matter where they are,
Yeah.
but you like were able to help them. And next thing you know, this is like, something that people they're looking for this.
We're looking for it. And so in your content, you want someone to feel like you're talking about them. They need to say, that's me, that's me, that's me. And that's when you know you've connected with them. I'll give you, speaking of a miracle story, I'll give you a story. There's a young man came in he's about 42, 43 years old, I think 44, somewhere around there. And I kind of really connect with him because at the time he came in, he was about my age as well. And young family, married, 18-month-old baby. And he sees my TMJ video. At the time, I had one video on TMJ. So I learned this great TMJ adjustment from John Minardi. I talked about it on my video, and a lot of people came in from that. But he comes in because he had some jaw pain. But more importantly, he lost hearing in one ear and was losing the hearing in the other ear. And he didn't know it was a problem until one day he was watching TV with his wife, and the volume of the TV was so high because he couldn't hear it, and his wife was getting frustrated. So they went to get it checked. He went to the
in his 40s. In his 40s.
And it's just kind of a spontaneous thing. So he thought he had this TMJ issue, right? That's why he came to my office. But he told me he went to his general practitioner. They couldn't help him. They didn't find anything. Like, they found nothing wrong. Everything's normal. Went to one eyes, ears, nose, throat specialist. Nothing wrong. Everything's normal. Went to another eyes, ears, nose, throat specialist. Nothing wrong. Everything's normal. Finally comes into my office because of this TMJ video. So I examined this TMJ. I examined the spine, x-rayed him, and we started to adjust him. He had an atlas upper neck problem. I didn't even touch his TMJ. I didn't even treat it, even though that's what he came in for. Within about 6 to 8 visits, his hearing comes back. Okay. And now we know the chiropractic story that it started like that. So I had a similar experience. And so he's coming in and he's super frustrated. I go, like, what's going on? He goes, more people need to know about this. This is ridiculous that I went to specialists after specialists and doctors, and no one ever told me to come to an office like yours, any chiropractic office, to get checked for this. And he was super frustrated because of that, even though he was happy about his results.
I would be too.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and when you're so like results driven and you help people,
Yeah.
here's the big takeaway, everybody. Chiropractors are specialists.
Mm-hmm.
and that's what makes chiropractic so unique and distinct.
Yeah.
Is chiropractic is a specialty. It's a healing art. It's a science. It's a philosophy. It helps with thoughts, traumas, and toxins. It helps with chemical, physical, and emotional stresses. Yeah. It helps calm the body. It helps clear the nervous system. It helps boost the body's healing abilities. Like, there's so much that goes into the chiropractic adjustment that one adjustment can change a life, but a lifetime of chiropractic can change multitudes of lives. Absolutely. And I think that that's something that we need to impress upon the listeners too, is it's not just getting the one adjustment. It's about practicing chiropractic as a consumer. And then that saves you from infirmary. It saves you from, the destruction of the pills, potions, and lotions that people think that they need. Really what they need is no interference in their nervous system.
100%.
And when chiropractic clears that, the body's a self-regulating, self-healing organism that needs nothing extra in it. It simply needs no interference.
That's right.
Take it home. Like, that's why what we do over here is so powerful, because it's so simple. We just need to get the story out there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are frustrated too. I tell this in my videos. I say, people feel like they've been misled. I can't tell you how many times people have come to my office with a stack of medical reports, a history of all these doctors they've been to. And I know there's a place for that. I'm not going to, knock that at all. But if that worked, they wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be in our office, right? So something's missing. Something is missing. And they need to know what's missing. And if they don't know that they need to get their spine checked, if they don't know they have spinal distortions, subluxations affecting all the tissues in their spine and their nervous system, then they're never going to act on it. So getting the message out on any platform, the one I chose is YouTube. You're doing podcasts, right? Doesn't matter what it is, just master one platform. At least you give a chance for people to know chiropractic and eventually to know you, and then maybe that'll be the answer for them.
You open up a lot of conversations today. You open up a lot of like insight for people to be aware of.
Sure.
And I always tell people, if we don't tell you the truth about chiropractic, someone else will sell you into drugs or surgery.
Yeah.
And it's our power to tell this story.
Mhm.
And I think it's really valuable that we could share some of our insights today about creating media.
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be so labor intensive, but it just has to be consistent.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot more that I could probably share as we could probably talk for 2 more hours on how to create content and why to create content, who the avatar is,
Yeah.
all of the playbook. We go through the whole playbook. We could write a book together probably. How to create massive impact for chiropractic through social media, podcasting, and YouTube channels. It'd probably be a bestseller. But Dr. Walter, is there anything I haven't touched on that you wanted to share with our audience today?
No, I think we covered it all. Just I think I want to end off with this. Chiropractic is not going anywhere. Like chiropractic, people are looking for chiropractic, whether it's now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. And I think eventually it's not going to be the alternative. It's going to be the main thing that people are looking for. They're just tired of being, brought through the ringer and not getting results these days with all the other stuff they tried. So chiropractic, I really believe, is the answer and will always be the answer for a lot of people.
Well, I'll take it home then, and I'll tell people this. I've done over 7,000 new patients from doing me to person types of interaction or screenings, or they called screenings. I call them scheduling events.
Mhm.
But I always ask people a simple survey question. Did you injure yourself? Are you doing anything for this? Have you ever considered chiropractic?
Mhm.
And I STFU. I just be quiet.
Mhm.
And I listen to what they have to say. And then I say, has anything you've done up to this point helped you? And then I go quiet again. And I say, have you ever considered chiropractic?
Mhm.
And people are so let down
Mhm.
by their decision-making process up to the point in the day and time that they met me that they said, you know what? I'll give it a try.
Mhm.
Because they've tried the pills, the potions, the lotions, the shots. They've tried the physiotherapy. They've tried the massage chairs. They've tried everything under the sun but chiropractic. And I think that if we can impress upon people to that point, if you haven't ever tried something that actually helped you,
Mhm.
you have nothing to lose but your health.
Mhm.
And I think that that's a good way to close out today. And just I want to thank you, Dr. Walter, for being our guest today. You're 515 of this show.
That's awesome. I'm excited for that. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Just every time I close out, I just ask people if they did want to work with you, where can we send people to if they want to start doing your challenge?
So they could message me on Facebook, look me up on Facebook, message me, and then, or they can go to chirocreators.com/5-day challenge. And then you can sign up there. Creators.com/5-day challenge.
Hopefully there's room for me.
Always.
All right, Dr. Walter, thanks for being our guest today. And I'll tell everyone out there, you're just one story away. Keep hustling. I'll see you guys on the next episode.
And what I say in my courses, you're just one video away. Same thing.
Yeah, we're disciples of Russell Brunson.
Exactly. Nice chatting with you.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, bye for now.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.